All right, we're back at it. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. So, let me just figure out a couple things here. If anyone can let me know in chat if they can actually hear me this time, that would be absolutely amazing. Uh, Everything on my end looks like it's good. I mean, the OBS is working, and actually, I think we're good to go. So, I'm actually really excited. I was talking for about 15 minutes there to myself, trying to figure it out and trying to communicate with you all. And I'm actually really happy that I was able to work. So first of all, I just want to thank every single one of you for all the support that you provided me and the channel in the videos. I really do appreciate it. We've been at it for about five years now, with pretty much over 5,000 videos, or at least coming up to that. So a lot of support. So I just want to make sure the very first thing I say is thank you so much for all of that support, guys. So what I want to start doing on these live streams is just basically connecting with you guys more and more. I have these videos going up pretty much every day, and the plan is to continue to have them going up pretty much every day. I'm constantly researching new videos, coming up with new video ideas. I think you guys are going to like some of the things that I haven't planned for the channel itself. So be on the lookout for that. But even more than that, in 2021, I really want to have sort of a deeper connection. I read all the comments and I respond to as many as I can. But I really feel like this is the best way to kind of connect with you all, answer questions, things of that nature. So basically, it's an open forum right now. If you guys have any nutrition questions, anything related to diet, nutrition, even with losing weight, feeling better, things like that, go ahead and ask. You know, that's what this is here. That's what the stream's here for. So I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. But I'm glad everything seems to be going good now. Like I said, it was quite the 15 minutes there talking to myself, but I'm glad that it ended up working out. And now it's going to be super easy moving forward. I can pretty much turn this on and we can start our chat. So hello to everyone out there. It'd be great to hear where everyone's from, actually. If you guys want to and you feel so inclined, type in chat where exactly you're from. I know even reading the comments and talking with a bunch of you in the videos, there's people from all over the world. All right, NW, welcome to the chat. My very first chatter in here. That's great. Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So what are the best foods? Now, I would like to preface this with I'm not a doctor, but I do have a little bit of a background in nutrition, obviously with this channel, last 5 years, lots of research. So best foods, I'm assuming to stay immune from COVID. Now, that's a much different question than, how can I boost immunity to maybe prevent COVID. Now, that's easier said than done. We're just learning things about COVID every single day. But let's talk about immune boosting foods. There has been studies out there that vitamin D is very important in keeping the immune system healthy and can help deter COVID symptoms and stuff like that. Is it a be all end all? No, probably not. The best thing is to, social distance, keep the masks on, all that good stuff. But if we're talking about building immunity and building up your immune system, very important. Vitamin D is a great one, especially in these winter months. Another one is, your antioxidant foods. So I love things like blueberries. Probiotics is a great you can have it as a supplement or as a food. Sauerkraut is a great probiotic, so and prebiotic. Kimchi, things like that. But I would just basically stick to your, high antioxidant foods. There's a lot of fruits that are super high in antioxidants. Just off the top of my head, some of the great things are blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Those are probably three of the highest. Green tea is another nice one. And again, take this all as a grain of salt, because I'm just a researcher who has a passion for nutrition, and I am not a doctor. So like I said, social distancing and staying away from the potential of contracting COVID is your best bet. But if we're talking about immune system boosting, so there we go, we have those foods, so high antioxidants. But then I'd like to point out another thing, foods that are high in vitamin C. Again, antioxidant foods. Things like bell peppers, often overlooked. Bell peppers are for pound, bell peppers are going to be one of the foods that are highest in vitamin C. And it's something that I try to eat every day. Red peppers, I supplement with liquid vitamin C. And there's just tons of other high vitamin C foods, such as guava. Mangoes are a great choice. Lemons, so lemon water, very easy to make. Limes, things of that nature. And you can really be creative. You don't have to just eat the same things every single day. Be creative, and you'll be good to go. And Joshua, yes, blueberries, absolutely. I talked about that in my last video, which I know you saw because I saw your awesome comment. So exactly right. So just building up anything that's going to, stop those free radicals from causing damage to the immune system is going to be very powerful. And same thing with probiotics. The better digestion, the more nutrient uptake you're going to have. So you're going to be, absorbing more of that vitamin C. But I personally love lemon water. I personally love limes, things like that. So, and then even bell peppers. Now, maybe perhaps the most important thing, and I'd be amiss to sort of not bring this up, pound for pound as well. Broccoli is one of the highest, has one of the highest vitamin C contents out there. So, your leafy green vegetables are another great thing to boost immunity. So, when it comes to immunity, those are the foods that I would sort of point to. Okay, so I guess to sort of sum it up, you got your bell peppers, you got lemons, limes, tons of different foods. You got your leafy green vegetables. All are going to have probiotics, and the list goes on and on with those. So all are going to boost the immune system, and then vitamin D. All right. And there's been studies that have been coming out more and more, especially in connection with COVID. I don't know if you guys saw those studies or heard of them, but sort of at the beginning, once COVID came out, the big rave was vitamin D and how important that can be in actually keeping your immune system healthy. For your immune system as well, it's really underrated just how important sleep is. All right. If you're not getting that 7 to 8 hours a day, your immune system is definitely going to be compromised. And, we definitely don't want that. So I would definitely point to that. And thank you so much for the question. Right now, immunity is huge. I'm always looking for immunity boosting food. So stick to your healthy vegetables, healthy fruits, things of that nature. So great. Thanks again for that question. And even with vitamin C, there's so many other benefits to it. Fighting chronic disease, great for your skin, because remember, vitamin C, and even for immunity, vitamin C, you're going to be producing more and more white blood cells, which can fight infection and disease, certain infections, certain diseases. And it's also great for collagen production for your skin. So I really like vitamin C. Like I said, I supplement with, even though I get quite a bit of vitamin C, I do take a vitamin C supplement, and it's liquid form. But if you're eating a well-balanced diet, kind of like what Joshua said there, you don't necessarily have to supplement with it. So thanks for that question. I really do appreciate NW. And like I said, you're the first one to chat in these live streams, and this isn't going to be the last one, that's for sure. I'm going to try to get on here as much as possible. So again, if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to ask. I have kind of an interesting video that I've been working on. Had to do with a comment that I read, dealing with cartilage and how to strengthen tendons and things like that. And there's a lot of research out there with certain foods. I don't want to spoil it right now, so I won't get too much into it. I'll save it for the video, but be on the lookout for that. Okay. All right. Foods that reduce anxiety, foods to promote sleep. Okay, so we're looking for foods that are high in tryptophan, things of that nature. You know, you always heard the story of like a warm glass of milk. I would be more inclined. There's good research out there that shows if you want to kind of have a good sleep. Hey, Mac. Hey, and thanks again for the question, Junior. You know, to promote sleep, you know, things like beet juice can be really good. Kind of get oxygen and things like that flowing throughout the body through nitrates is really good for a good night's sleep. Again, tryptophan, serotonin. You can sort of supplement with melatonin. I know that works for a lot of people. As for foods that reduce anxiety, I would very much caution you know, consuming coffee in large amounts. There's a lot of research that shows the correlation between caffeine and anxiety. So try to stay away from that. Foods that reduce anxiety, you know, it's just going to be clean eating. There's no perfect, when it comes to anxiety, it's very complicated. There's not really, from what I've seen, and again, always take this with a grain of salt, guys, okay? It's different for everyone. Anxiety is very complicated. What the research is kind of showing, and even from experience, because I do work with clients a lot of the times, sort of in a training capacity. We talk about diet a ton. I would always try to limit caffeine and limit sugar. All right. So there's sugar, nitrates, things like that, that are going to induce higher anxiety. So if you're eating a clean diet, and not only clean diet, but also exercising, huge, getting enough sleep, you know, that's always going to help. All right. And, you know, it's a very complicated matter. Something you always want to talk to a medical practitioner about as well. All right. Are you vegan or vegetarian, sir? I never saw you talking about health benefit of organ meats and raw milk. I am neither vegan nor vegetarian, MM. That's a great question. I do, however, try to limit red meat. It's very seldom that I do. I do train for strength and muscle and things like that, but very seldom will I have red meat. So in a lot of ways, I'll even eat a lot of vegan type meals, you know, beans, lentils, things like that. The health benefit of organ meats and raw milk. Raw milk is fine with me. You know, I'd rather drink sort of the higher percentage milks than your skim milk. With organ meats, do you mean liver and things like that, MM? I'm just trying to get a better sense of exactly and kind of narrow down exactly what you mean by organ meats. Hey, my pleasure, Mac. I'm happy to do it. Like I said, we've been doing these videos for years now, so it's about time that I actually come on and answer questions for you guys and kind of connect in that way. Kidneys, I'm not too sure. I'll be honest with you, MM. I haven't seen very much in terms of kidneys, to be honest. Liver, you know, liver is one of those things as well. Pretty high nutritional value, you know, with B vitamins and things like that. And it's going to be one of the cleaner proteins. I try to stay away from liver as much as I can. There can be quite a bit of nitrates in that. So I'm not the biggest fan of liver, to be honest with you. And the same goes for lamb heart. Now, I will eat lamb from time to time. It is not often. And I definitely do eat beef. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. So everything in moderation. Okay. So even though I eat beef, it's probably 1 or 2 times a week, and the serving is fairly low. There's just a lot of correlation with different types of diseases. I don't know. Some of the ones that I've read are colon cancers and stuff like that. So I try to limit that stuff as much as possible. Stay away from nitrates, all that stuff. Well, pork chops is sort of one of those interesting ones, Joshua. It sort of depends on the cut. You know, they can be quite fatty, high in saturated fat, high in trans fat, but there is some leaner pork chops out there. Would they be my first choice? Probably not. Like you just mentioned, salmon. That's definitely a great choice. Salmon is an amazing food, high in omega-3, great protein, a lot of nutrients, very nutrient dense. So I'm very much inclined to definitely eat salmon for sure. Beef and constipation. You know, I haven't had too much problems with beef and constipation in the past, but I've heard of some people having problems with beef and digestion. So it can definitely lead to constipation, and it can make people a little bit, kind of ruin regularity for them. Again, it's dependent on a lot of different factors, and everyone's different. Some people can handle beef just fine, or chicken, turkey, eggs, whereas other people are more sensitive to those foods. So for me, with beef, and again, I'm not eating a ton of beef right now, but when I do eat beef, I'm not really getting the constipation, but I do know that it's out there, and I do know people are experiencing that. And again, my pleasure for the chat. Ground lamb every now and then, absolutely, Kathleen. I think anything in moderation is okay, depending on the fat, how much fat is in that ground lamb. It's the exact same with beef, right? So you can get anything, from 60% fat to lean to extra lean. But if you're having it every now and then, everything in moderation, I don't think you're going to be running into too many problems with it. Lamb is a great source of protein. There's good nutrients in lamb, ones that you're not going to find in a lot of other meats, to be honest with you. So every now and then, I think you're okay. Grass-fed liver is great. That's interesting, MM. I've never actually had grass-fed liver. Do you eat that quite often? I've never had liver, really, to be honest. I think we have a couple liver videos on the channel, so they're actually quite interesting for me to research and to kind of check out. But liver is not one of those foods that I've really had much experience with. But I'm glad you like it. I'm sure there's a lot of foods you guys have tried that maybe I haven't tried, or I'm not eating a ton of every day, but it's interesting to hear other people's perspective. I'm more so of very much like a raw veggie, good fruits, clean proteins, supplements. Those are kind of my go-tos on a day-by-day basis. And I think that's interesting for you guys to hear, because I make so many of these videos where we're talking about health and healthy foods and things of that nature. There's a lot of vegetables that I eat, a bunch of different grains. I will say this, I'm very much a fan of healthy fats. Even with a lot of clients that I work with, so many people are low in healthy fats. And especially if they're trying to lose weight or for overall health, low fats can definitely have a very negative effect on you. For one, it can affect hormones, and two, we need fat just for our overall health. Some of my favorites are Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, things like that. I'm a big fan of fish oil. I take fish oil pretty much every day. Hemp hearts are another great one. All of these healthy fat sources are super dense in nutrients. And hey, Tammy, hello all the way to Mississippi. Thanks for so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you're having a good day. So that's funny. What did you have? I just had some Brazil nuts actually before I came out here. So some of my favorite. I like to kind of switch it up a little bit. Avocados is another great one. Kathleen, eggs are another great one. A lot of people are kind of scared of the yolks in eggs. But I'll always recommend to my clients that, don't be scared of, having an egg in the morning. That's where all the nutrients are. That's where the healthy fats are. A lot of people will cut it out and just eat the egg whites. For one, it's kind of bland. You might get a little bit bored of it. But two, all the nutrients, B vitamins, all that good stuff is found in the yolk of the egg. And again, it's a lot, good healthy fats in there. Cashew nuts and peanuts, but I like others non-salted. Yep, same with me. Acid. I never really eat salted. Not that you can splurge a little bit, I guess, and a lot of the salted, I guess, mixed nuts and peanuts and stuff like that. If you're eating them in moderation, there's not a ton of sodium in them. When you really look at the label, I would always recommend sort of raw, unsalted nuts, but if you do look at the label, it's quite surprising. People see salted mixed nuts or salted cashews and things like that and think it's just absolutely loaded with sodium or salt. But it's actually quite low compared, like in some of them, it's lower than a slice of bread. So, just keep it in moderation and I think you'll be fine. But I would always recommend raw, non-salted fat sources. And Kathleen, you're 100% right. You kind of took the words right out of my mouth there. Avocados, one of my favorite things. Love throwing them into smoothies. I love putting them into salads. And that's another thing too. A big fan of salads. Easy way to get a bunch of different vegetables for one thing and nutrients, so micronutrients. So love salads. I'm kind of on a salad kick right now, to be honest with you. But I have another, like I said, I have a few videos that I think you guys will enjoy, just on a bunch of different topics right now. There's just so much information out there. I feel one of the things kind of compelling me throughout this whole year is just to get as much good information. All right. So it's not just, finding the first thing and then throwing that information up into a video. It's actually going through a bunch of different sources, weaning out some of the good data versus the not so good, or things that aren't backed up by certain studies and things like that. But it's really my main goal for this year to get as many videos up as I can and things that are going to be beneficial for you guys. One of the main things, even in the comments or some messages that I get, because it is hard with about 4,500, maybe even more videos, keeping up with all of the comments. But at times I will go through them and just look at old comments. And a lot of the comments these days, perhaps maybe because it's January or we're into the new year, a lot of them are having to do with fat loss and losing weight and things like that. So I have a ton of, I guess, pointers and tidbits that I would love to share with you guys if that's something that you're interested in. And that's really one of my big backgrounds. Hunger hormone off. Okay. When do you usually feel hungry, Tammy? Is it throughout the day, more so at night? I know a lot of people who kind of have that hunger feeling or get those cravings towards nighttime. And then that's when people generally turn to, snacks, something quick, maybe something off if they're following a diet plan or anything like that. Okay, morning. Well, if you're hungry in the morning, I think that's kind of totally normal, to be honest. Once you eat, Is that going away, or is that kind of following you throughout the day, Tammy? Because I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm fairly hungry as well, just because we've been fasting for, well, if you're getting 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours, but if you're not eating for a couple hours before bed, then you got, that extra time on it as well. Thank you for the videos there. But well, I appreciate that, Kathleen. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate that. I think that maybe that one of the things, Tammy, is just the types of foods you're eating. Okay. So a lot of the times the foods we eat in the morning, it can cause a crash in our blood sugar throughout the day. That's why and this is just my experience and my perspective. But I like to keep it with a protein and a fat source in the morning, because if I have carbs, then a lot of times I'll crash during the day. Once you eat, it opens up your hunger. That metabolism starts to go, huh? So what are you eating in the morning, Tammy? There's a lot of people who are like that, to be honest. Once they kind of start eating, then it gets the ball rolling. And then they're sort of not really satiated, and they're eating throughout the day. Is one of your goals just to eat healthier, or, is there a bigger goal that you're kind of working towards? Oatmeal one day, then the eggs. Okay, well, that's not too bad. Oatmeal is a nice slow digesting carbohydrate source, and eggs, you guys know how I feel about eggs. I've done tons of videos on that. I regularly eat eggs, and I just kind of went on my rant of how I'm a big fan of eggs. I'd play around with it a little bit. Maybe add some almonds into that oatmeal. I don't know if you're eating it plain, but maybe adding another fat source. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be just like a handful, even less. When I eat almonds, it's usually 10 or less. And I find that'll help keep my blood sugar low. It'll slow down the absorption of the food that I'm eating. And I'm not going to be crashing as much. But if you're hungry throughout the day, another thing that you might want to do is maybe just have smaller snacks throughout the day as well. It doesn't have to be big meals. Can you clarify what you mean by hunger hormone? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to that. Is it just sort of like a feeling of hunger? But I've never heard of anything referred to as the hunger hormone. Also, how's your water intake? Water intake can be great. Grenling, okay, yes, I've heard of that. So shutting that off can be quite tough. I would eat smaller meals throughout the day. Keep the carbs, slow digestion. I would keep the protein high. I would have a lot of fibrous green vegetables throughout the day. And again, this is just my 2 cents. If there's, if it's not going away, you obviously want to talk to your doctor. But these are going to be the things that are going to help you the most. Fibrous green vegetables are one of your best friends if you're hungry. And then also water. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense, Tammy. And you know what? You're not the only person. There's a lot of people who sort of struggle with drinking water. And a lot of the times there can be a confusion with dehydration and hunger. So, I would try to get to that, what's it now? It's always constantly changing. That limit of 8 to 10 glasses a day. Some people need more. Generally speaking, it's not usually less. It's usually around that eight glasses. For me, 8 glasses is not nearly enough. I'm a big water drinker. I'm a big fan of water. I'm constantly sipping water throughout the day. So that could be it too, Tammy. I would sort of play around with that a little bit, because if you are dehydrated, you're not going to be satiated. You're going to kind of get those hunger pains a lot of times. And again, it's confused for dehydration as opposed to actually feeling hungry. But no, thanks for sharing that and being open about that. Hey, my pleasure. No problem. I've seen it a lot, and like I said, you're definitely not the only one. There's a lot of people who have that, either through time or they're just not a fan of water. Well, that's good. That's good, Courtney. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Courtney. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but that's awesome. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of water. The first thing I do right in the morning, have a couple glasses of water, and then I just continue to sip throughout the day, and maybe stop a couple hours, maybe like an hour before bed. And I'm also a big fan of green tea, so I have that pretty much every day as well. But the great questions, guys. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm really appreciating this, and especially for my first stream and everything. After all the technical difficulties that we had there to start, I'm really, really enjoying this, and I'm really enjoying talking with you guys. So, all right, Mohammed. So you're looking for foods that are high in nutrition, vitamins. My best advice for you is to keep it simple. All right. You probably already know or have a good grasp of the types of foods that are high in nutrition. All right. And by nutrition, you're going to have tons of vitamins, minerals, all of that good stuff. Okay. So let's keep it simple. We don't have to go out and buy a bunch of different stuff. All right. If we have our leafy green vegetables, that's a great start. Super high in nutrition. Healthy fats. Beans are a great one. So if you're not a big protein eater, meat alternatives like beans, lentils, super high in nutritional value. They might not have all the amino acids that a complete protein will have, but they are sure going to be high in nutrition. That's for sure. All right. So good fruits, healthy green, leafy vegetables, and just colorful vegetables in general. It doesn't have to be leafy green vegetables. We always hear about how important leafy green vegetables, but what's wrong with beets? What's wrong with eggplant? What's wrong with, certain fruits like limes and lemons and all that type of stuff? Zucchini, often is overlooked. So I would start with that. Lemon water and green tea. Very nice, Tammy. That's a great start. I actually used to do the same. I would have my green tea and then just squeeze a little bit of lemon water in there, and I'd be feeling pretty good. Decent fiber intake with that lemon water as well. If you squeeze it in, you're going to need a little bit of the pulp from the lemon to come in. If it's just pure lemon juice or anything like that, you're not going to quite get the pectin that's coming from the lemons. So I love squeezing it in, even getting a little bit of that pulp at the bottom of the cup. That way I can get some of the fiber benefits of it too. If I eat leafy green vegetable, I get. Okay, so you'll have to play around then, Mohammed. If that's not going to work for you, there's tons of other options. Okay, how are you with things like beans and lentils and other fruits and non-leafy green vegetables, eggplant? There's just so many things out there. Heck, even like your healthy fats, if I didn't say that before, super nutrient dense. Almonds are one of I eat quite a bit. I've already mentioned this, but I eat quite a bit of healthy fats, and the nutritional value in those is just unbelievable. Now, I am also a big fan of turmeric. Very, very nutrient dense, tons of antioxidants. You don't have to eat a lot of it. Great anti-inflammatory. So I would stick to that. And if it comes down to it too, Mohammed, maybe you might want to supplement a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that right off the start because there's just so many options out there that you should be able to get something that works for you without necessarily just jumping straight into supplements. Not that the supplements are bad, but they are what they are. They're called supplements for a reason. You want to be getting whole foods and everything like that as best you can. Okay, Mohammed, if you're dealing with that, I think the best thing that you should probably do then is contact your medical practitioner, my friend. Okay. Anything like that is a little bit beyond the scope of this channel. So I would always contact a medical practitioner. Not sure what's causing that or anything like that. So clearly, if you've been suffering from that for a long time, you're going to want to talk to your medical practitioner, my friend. All right. So make sure you're good. Take care of yourself. And make sure that you seek out something to try to remedy that. Courtney, green juice. Yes, green juice is an excellent choice. And there's so many different recipes out there. You can add literally almost anything. You can add almost anything to a green juice these days. So many people throw so many things into their green juice. I'm not sure if you guys are. I'm kind of interested in what you put into it, Courtney. There's the very common ones, sort of like your typical green juice. When I was drinking green juice, I didn't necessarily put a ton of different ingredients into it. I'm more of a smoothie guy, but I am a fan of green juice, and I have had green juice quite often. So I'm definitely a fan. Sorry, Mohammed. I actually don't have any of those. I don't even know what WhatsApp is. I apologize for that. And I don't have Facebook, or I don't have Instagram. So again, my apologies. But make sure you speak with a medical practitioner, my friend. Okay. Make sure you take care of yourself. But yeah, I've been really. I think having your sort of go-to foods that you can eat, things that you enjoy, things that are healthy, high nutritional value in those foods, but then also have things that, you're not afraid to try, like artichoke for one. I've had a couple clients who, saw artichokes and, totally looked the other way, wouldn't even comprehend eating those. But you put them, if you can like boil them and, come up with a couple good recipes, you can really eat anything. And artichokes are a great source of nutrients. Again, very similar to other leafy green vegetables, bunch of different nutrients and vitamins, minerals, fiber, all that good stuff. So same with fruits. The exact same with fruits. Play around with those too. For myself, I do like fibrous fruits. So things like apples, even bananas are okay. The more sort of greener side, they have the resistant starch. So I am a big fan of fibrous fruit, pears, things like that, even lemons. Over more so your grapes or mangoes and things like that, because I am a little bit sensitive to sugar. Not in the sense of weight gain. I can keep my weight fairly flat, so I'm not really fluctuating much in weight, but I do wake up feeling pretty groggy the next day if I do sort of have those fruits that are quite high in sugar. So grapes I haven't eaten in couldn't even tell you. It's been a really long time. I'm not a huge fan of grapes. Not that grapes are even are that bad, but like they have a ton of, obviously, like the skin on grapes is great for you. Red grapes especially. So they're definitely not bad for you. Just sometimes certain foods work for you and some don't. But that's why I'm always trying different things. All right, Mohammed. So is that like a weight issue, or is that just something that you've sort of been dealing with for a while? Because, we always talk about nutrition, but I do talk about working out quite a bit as well. Even with your weight loss or weight management, diet is probably 80% of it. Obviously, diet is a huge part of weight loss or maintaining a healthy weight, but you do have to be active as well. They go hand in hand. Diet plays a huge part, and I really like having if you are dieting or you're trying to lose weight, if you're in a calorie deficit, really having those nutrient dense foods. They're super important because you are eating less calories. So if you're eating less calories, the micronutrient content in your diet might be a little bit lower. So the more nutrient dense foods you can eat, most likely for the better. So yeah, that's something that I'm always explaining to clients as well. And have fun with it. Have fun with your diet. Come up with different recipes. Enjoy a smoothie in the mornings. Very simple to make. We can eat sort of make smoothies, consume those, and it really doesn't take long. Especially if you're sort of meal prepping or everything's ready for you. You just throw it sort of in your blender, whatever you use, Vitamix. Doesn't really matter. They all work the same. And then you can drink that very quickly. With spinach. Oh, nice. Kathleen, that's very similar to the one I had, actually, to be honest. There's spinach, celery, cucumber, and I definitely put in, I believe it was a pear. It might have been a green apple, actually, to be honest, now that I think of it. And then I also threw in parsley. That's pretty much the only difference. I might have actually switched back and forth from pears to green apples, but pears are great too. I just did that video on pear juice, and so there's tons of different benefits for pears. So yeah, pear would be great in a green smoothie. Hey, Truth, welcome to the chat. Moises, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but again, welcome to the chat. The perfect diet is fruits, nuts, a little honey, and birds, natural, wild hens, roosters, fish. Okay, so yeah, you're eating healthy fats. I'd add in some veggies there for sure, like leafy green vegetables. But man, I'm a big fan of honey. If you guys watch my videos, raw organic honey is one of my favorite things to have. And it's not huge amounts. It's like a teaspoon to a tablespoon at most. And I'll usually add it to like green tea. I don't really eat it on its own. A lot of times I'll have it with garlic, to be honest, a spoon of that with garlic. Man, you're getting a ton of antibacterial benefits with that. So no, thanks for sharing that. And I do eat quite a bit of fish. Yep, raw vegetables, Truth. Exactly. That's how I try to have most of my vegetables. If not, then just slightly steamed. But that's usually if they're in a recipe. Best fruits to add to protein shakes. Also, best fruits to help with bowel movements. Okay, so very good. So best fruits to add to protein shakes. Is this a protein shake? Are you sort of weight training? Moises, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I hope it's Moises. But there's so many things that you can add to protein shakes. I'm just sort of wondering if you are having protein shakes, if you're weight training as well. And best fruits for bowel movements, one of the great ones, and it's often overlooked, is actually blueberries and raspberries because they're so high in fiber content. Same thing with apples, same thing with pears. Then I kind of mentioned before, fibrous fruits are really helpful in that sense. All right, great. I appreciate that, Tammy. I appreciate you checking out the videos. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy them. Increase my weight, muscle. And you're saying it perfectly, bro. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not messing that up. All right, increasing weight and increasing muscle. All right, we're right up my alley. That's my background. And then I also have a nutritional background with courses that's sort of stems from that. So it's right up my alley, my friend. So are you having whey protein? Or is it some sort of vegan protein or anything like that? Interesting. Ghrelin used for, Tammy? I believe that's a sort of like in the gastrointestinal tract, a hormone that's produced there. It's sort of the one that you were called the hunger hormone. So it can sort of increase food intake So I don't know exactly what it's used for, but I know the causes. It can definitely make you hungry prior to meals. That's when you seem to feel the full effects of that most. Um, the reason why I didn't know exactly for ghrelin when we were talking about it before, I believe there's an H in there. I'm not exact. I'm pretty sure there's an H, but yeah, it's sort of stemming from the a hormone from the gastrointestinal tract, I believe, if I'm remembering from the videos correctly. And yeah, it can really cause an increase in appetite before meals. Hemp seed protein. Okay, great. I love hemp seed protein. Tried that before. So I hope I answered the fruits into protein shakes. Um, Fruits that I like adding into protein shakes. Are you having the protein shakes after workouts, Moises? Because if you are, I would put a banana in there. A banana is always good, especially with the high levels of potassium. So you're gonna have better recovery after your workout. I would put blueberries in there for their high antioxidant content. Also, you could do raspberries as well, but I would start with bananas and blueberries. And again, this is all just my opinion and from my experience and just things that I've read and researched. So always take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I would start with those. I don't know if you really need too much more. I'd start with those ones. And then, you can always add like half a pear or something like that. Trying to implement more nuts and things like that, that's great. I mean, if you're trying to put on muscle, then those are nice calorie dense foods. All right, you don't want to overdo it and put on too much fat, but if you are trying to gain muscle, you're going to have a calorie surplus, and you're going to need fats as well for energy, things like that. So nuts are great. I was saying earlier how nuts and seeds are some of my favorite fat sources, and I answer them and I eat those quite often. High blood pressure. Sorry, Mohammed. I might have missed some. Again, I'm not going to comment on the mucus problem just because I'm not really exactly sure what you mean by that. And you really need to speak with your doctor about that. Just reading it off the chat, I really have no background or how long that's been happening or if certain foods are causing that. So I really can't, unfortunately, and I apologize, I can't answer those questions. Like I said before, you need to speak to a medical practitioner about that. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. But and I'm not exactly sure what the heart problem is, but for high blood pressure, again, that's something you need to speak to your doctor about. High blood pressure is something that you really need to take serious. Now, there's foods out there that are high in potassium, high in magnesium, manganese, things of that nature that studies have shown, numerous studies, it's very well studied, can have a really good effect on regulating blood pressure. But again, depending on what your blood pressure is and how high it is, eating foods that are high in potassium aren't going to be the quick fix that we might be looking for. So again, speak with your doctor. Heart problems are, again, very complicated, but those would be your foods that you normally see people kind of eating to regulate blood pressure. Also, beet juice. Beets are very underrated in that type of stuff. The nitrates, much different from nitrates that are found in sort of your cold cut meats. Totally different. A lot of times people will get those confused. I remember I used to, back in the day, I would get them confused too. Nitrates, nitrites, the difference. So beet juice is very good for the heart health and things like that. And again, just eating clean, healthy foods. Anti-inflammatory foods, very good for the heart, very good for the cardiovascular system. It's something that I really take seriously. And in a lot of my videos, you guys will probably notice that I talk about heart health a lot because those clean, healthy foods do have a good impact on heart health. So just keep eating clean, but make sure you speak with your doctor, especially on those more serious health complications, because heart issues can lead to, and high blood pressure can really lead to chronic disease down the road. And that's something that we don't want. Yeah, I agree with that, Truth. I don't think there's really any perfect or optimal diet. It's like I said, some people there really can't be when you think about it, because there's people who will have things like food allergies or, food sensitivities and things like that. So what works for some people isn't going to work for others. Like honey is one of my favorite things. And I love honey, and I've made tons of videos on honey, raw organic honey, and how important that is. But there's people with honey allergies, and they can't have that. Same thing with nuts. Man, we just talked about nuts for so long, but a lot of the times tree nuts, so they can't enjoy those foods, so they have to eat something else. So I think you're 100% right. There's not one optimal diet that's going to work for every single person, and that's why I think it's good to experiment in a safe way, staying away if you have those food allergies or sensitivities, making sure you're mindful of that and speaking with your doctor, and then trying a bunch of different foods and seeing how they work for you. Thanks, Moises. I appreciate that. Yeah, if there's so many videos, I'm sure a lot of you guys are listening and hearing my voice quite a bit. So it is, and I thought it was kind of cool to come in and have just regular conversation as well. Much different than actually doing the videos. Courtney, do you need a lot of protein? Very good question. I'm a fan of protein. The reason why I'm a fan of protein is, for one, it keeps you satiated. And two, a lot of people are low in protein. Now, you don't have to go overboard. So a lot is subjective, for one. It's dependent a lot of the times on your goals, for one, but also on your total body weight. Do you need to go over a gram of protein per body weight? Absolutely not. There's a lot of studies that show that might be overdoing it a little bit, especially if you're not competing in something like bodybuilding and you're just trying for overall health. You don't need that 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight. So I would keep it in somewhere around like the 0.6 to 0.8. I think that's a good start. There's lots of studies that show the importance of protein, especially as we start to get older, muscle atrophy with tendons and all that different stuff. And protein is nutrient dense as well. People often forget that. I'm not saying that you are, but a lot of clients that I speak to, they're not always aware of just, how nutrient dense proteins can be. We're talking chicken, healthy proteins, things like that. Mohammed, hey, my pleasure, my friend. Absolutely no disturbance at all. It's my pleasure to have you in this chat, and a pleasure to have you watching the video. So thank you very much, and I hope you continue to enjoy them, and thank you again. Bovine meat. Yes, some people are big fans of paleo diet. Personally, I've never tried the paleo diet, so I don't have a ton to say on it. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Truth, with your comment on we need carbs, fat, and protein. We need well-balanced meals. Now, some people will have keto diet, and some people do really well on a keto diet. So absolutely no carbs. The only thing that worries me about keto diet is how long can they sustain a keto diet? How long can you sustain a diet where you can't eat an apple? Yeah, I always love kind of going back to that example. If I can't eat if I can't eat an apple on a diet, then it might not be the diet for me. just because there's so many good, healthy foods out there. I don't want to limit myself to only proteins and fats. And oftentimes people who are doing keto diet, unfortunately, and just to be honest, they're not always eating the healthiest fat sources. It can be bacon, hams, processed meats, things like that. They kind of fall in love with the idea of, I can eat protein, I can eat fat, so that means I can eat any type of fat or protein, which is not always the case. And a lot of them are sort of missing out on the whole vegetable side of things. If you're doing keto, vegetables are a good an important part of that as well, because you certainly can't eat fruits. At least to the best of my knowledge, it'd be counterintuitive to the whole diet scheme. So if you're on keto, those fruits are vital for you. I've recently fell in love with dates. Okay. Yep. All right. Nice. Moises. Yep. I've done a few videos on dates, and I haven't ate them quite a bit in my life, to be honest with you. When are you eating the dates? The only reason why I ask, I think dates would be great for you after your workout. Again, take that with a grain of salt. If you guys haven't been able to tell, I have a background in training, with weight training. And then from there, my love for nutrition exploded greatly. So I've taken a lot of different nutrition courses. I'm constantly reading on nutrition. It's a passion and a love of mine. And I love sharing it with you guys. The reason why I would recommend dates after a workout, they are quite high in sugar, and doesn't matter if it's fructose, sucrose, anything like that. A lot of the times it's going to get stored the exact same way. It doesn't matter if it's table sugar, fructose, or anything like that. You can burn that off a little bit more. That's why I always like the banana after a workout, but just be careful with the dates. But they are a great source of energy. I will give you that, Moises, absolutely. And I'm fairly certain high in nutritional value as well. Kalanji, I hope I'm saying that right, Mohammed. Kalanji with honey. Never tried that, but I might have to look into that. Maybe I'll do a video on it. You never know. See, sometimes you guys give me some really good ideas for videos as well. I forget who it was the other day, but that tendon and cartilage idea was one that I immediately got hooked on, and probably did an hour of reading on that because I thought that would make a great video. I haven't seen too much out there on YouTube regarding that. And as someone who's training, you see that type of stuff all the time. And especially, again, as we get older, those are things that we're going to want to have to focus on. So a great idea. I really appreciate you guys giving me the ideas and, always giving me feedback. So thank you. I like to eat my dates 2 or 3 with walnuts. Yeah, Kathleen, that's great. That's actually delicious. And you know what? Eating it with the walnuts and almonds, I think, and it looks like you do too, Moises. So this is going to be said for you too, even before I saw your comment. But the walnuts and the almonds are going to slow down the absorption of the dates. So I always like doing that as well. If I am going to have something a little bit more higher in a type of sugar. Again, not table sugar or white sugar, the sugar that we're most often thinking about, it will slow it down a little bit. And plus, you're getting tons of nutrients there, tons of healthy fats. So I do like that. I like that a lot. And like I said before, walnuts and almonds are 2 of my favorite healthy fats. I pretty much eat them every day. Do you know much about black seed oil? I know a little bit about black seed oil. I can't say I'm the most knowledgeable about black seed oil. And the reason is I've tended to stay away from it in the past. I can't even remember the last time I've had black seed oil. I remember doing a video on it a few years back. Let's think of some of the benefits. I know it has some beauty benefits. I think you might, with the black seed oil, you might have to speak with your doctor about it. I don't know if it's right for everyone, but I do know it can help with reducing cholesterol. I think it's it might be heart healthy. And so I'm thinking like blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that. Maybe even inflammation. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, thinking out loud here. Um, so I do know, I think that's maybe what you're saying, Courtney, with the good for COVID, maybe just due to the anti-inflammatory properties of it. So immune boosting, right? So I can see where you're coming from that. Um, you just might want to make sure that it's right for you because some people can react differently to it. Flaxseed oil every day. That's awesome. Um, Truth, I know what you're saying. A lot of people are sort of against oils. I don't have a major problem with oils, in moderation, of course. I will have like a flaxseed oil is fine. I'll often have flax seeds. To be honest, I put it in my oatmeal. Coconut oil again. Olive oil, I'm more than happy to have as an oil. One of my favorites, very healthy, high in polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, next to no saturated fats. Should you be having whole nuts instead rather than the oils? Maybe, but there is benefits to having things like olive oil and coconut oil and all that good stuff. Mohammed, I make videos pretty much every day. So I'm on YouTube, this channel. So you'll see my videos quite often, my friend. But yeah, I love flax seeds. I've been eating flax seeds for years. They're one of the first like really kind of healthy. I'd almost call them niche because not a lot of people know about them or eat them that often. It's kind of like a hidden gem, if you will. Moises. I'm trying to find a mouse. Fruits, veggies, nuts, grains. Okay, balance is perfect. Yeah, balanced diet is something I believe in wholeheartedly. Lots of nutrients, a good portion of protein, fats, carbohydrates, micronutrients, things like that, supplements if you need it. So I think that's great. Bigger meals because I used to eat small foods like throughout the day. So are you finding the bigger meals are more helpful for you? You weren't really liking the small meals. Chia seed. Same with me, Tammy. Big chia seed fan. What are my eating habits? Oh, that's a good question, Moises. So my eating habits, they can vary. It's definitely healthy, and a lot of the times I will track calories. I don't count calories, but I will make diets for myself where I know the amount of calories going in and out. But even more importantly than my macronutrients, I'm very concerned with my micronutrients. So a lot of veggies, just kind of the same things that I've been saying throughout the stream. Micronutrients, keeping those high, lots of green vegetables, healthy carbohydrates, beans, lots of fiber, a little bit higher in protein probably than most of you do, just because I do weight train and work out and play sports and all that different stuff. So it can be a little bit different in that sense, but my eating habits are pretty bland. I say bland because I'll keep it fairly regular. Like and then I'll switch. So I try a bunch of different stuff. I'm making stir fries all the time, keeping things healthy, very little sugar, no alcohol, anything like that. So I keep it healthy for the most part. I like. I just enjoy eating healthy. I think it just comes down to that, and the more options I have, the better. So that's a really good question. So the foods that you see in my videos are the foods that I'm eating on a day-to-day basis. At least the healthy ones. I will throw a video in there on foods not to eat. So I will stay away from those. How to search you. Sorry, Mohammed, I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty much just on this channel. There's not really much other way to do that. Chia seeds are powerful for the brain, for brain function. Yep, absolutely, Joshua. And there's even studies to back that up. Omega-3s, very much so. High nutrient dense. Seeds right there. I love chia seeds. Chia seeds are one of my favorite. I often will put them in smoothies. I find that the easiest way to eat them. But yeah, some of my favorite seeds. Search it on YouTube. You found me already, Mohammed. This is my YouTube channel right here, Foods for Health. So if you're in the stream, it's probably just below. You can find me there, buddy. You know what? That's a good question, Tammy. I used to eat more wheat germ. I haven't so much as of late. Are you sort of a big fan of wheat germ? I know when I ate it, I would use it with a bunch of different recipes. There's oils, different things like that. I know it's fairly. I know the oil at least is fairly rich in antioxidants, and pretty good nutrition as well, if I do believe. But I haven't had it that much, so I can't say. I would be lying if I said I'm a big fan or that I do like wheat germ. I have had it before, and I know it does have those benefits that I listed before, so I'm definitely not against it. So yeah, I think and again in moderation, I think it can be helpful. Absolutely. Cream of wheat has little starches. Yep. I haven't had cream of wheat either in quite some time. I'm usually an oatmeal guy, kind of like the fiber and stuff like that. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for me, I eat smaller meals throughout the day. There's usually a protein in it, and there's usually a vegetable. And again, I keep it simple when it comes to my diet. So tons of veggies, good fruits, usually a smoothie thrown in there. What else? Healthy fats, supplements. So I make sure I take my vitamin D. I'll take an antioxidant blend. I'll always take a probiotic. I take fish oil, things like that. But it's not too complicated, to be honest with you, Moises. It's just good, clean, healthy foods, high in vegetables, and good protein sources, and not a lot of saturated or trans fats. I do like having healthy fats again, but the trans fats, sugar is a no-no. It's like the biggest thing that I try to stay away from. But I'll eat even like with tomato and stuff like that, peppers. Love coming up with new recipes where I can easily add veggies to it. And I usually try to stick to, and I actually enjoy more so raw veggies than actually cooked veggies. So I'm sort of lucky in that sense, I think. And so smoothies are helpful, but I don't really have to always have a smoothie because I can just eat something like cauliflower or broccoli, even kale. And then again, these are all some of my favorite green vegetables. I can eat kale just on its own. I'll throw it in a salad, and it's something that I've just been getting used to over the years. So really big on that. But again, I keep it simple, Moises, and I always try to recommend that to people. Mushrooms, I try to. Yeah, mushrooms is same with me. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. Yep. Same with me, Tammy. I used to not like mushrooms, to be honest. I didn't like the consistency of them, but they've really grown on me over the last, I'd say, 2 or 3 years. So I definitely have mushrooms as well. Apple cider vinegar. That's a good one. You know what? I don't have apple cider vinegar, D. Will. There's so many conflicting studies out there that for me, I just try to. There's so many other options other than apple cider vinegar that for me, and especially with what apple cider vinegar can do. I know it's like a lot of people have it just for weight loss and stuff like that. Digestion too, I do believe. And it's not that I'm against it. It definitely has its purpose. Um, you know, I think a lot of people have it for its antibacterial or antifungal benefits. And like I said, a lot of the times for weight loss, which doesn't really excite me too much. Even managing blood sugars or things like that. So uh, I'm not against it, but I don't take it. I will say that. And I always tell people to speak with their doctor about it just to get the correct dosage. Because some people can really overdo it, I find. And then you'll kind of get that upset stomach. And just other sort of digestive issues can occur with it. So just be careful with the dosage if you do take it. You don't need a lot at one time. And I would recommend sort of mixing it in water. A lot of people drink it straight because it's a lot easier and they don't like the taste, but I sort of like diluting it. And the very few times that I have had it, very hard for me to just kind of throw back a shot of apple cider vinegar. I think it's also good for skin too, if I'm not correct. Some people will take it to kind of clear up their skin and stuff like that. So again, like I said, I'm not against, but it's not something that I have on a day-to-day basis. Side effects if you eat too many shelled sunflower seeds. Well, anything not in moderation can have a side effect, Susan, but it depends how much you're eating. For one, I think the biggest side effect would be weight gain because they're very high in calories. Seeds and nuts, people are very surprised when I actually show them just how many calories are in them. Sunflowers on their own, great food. People were talking about foods before bed. Sunflower seeds, now that you mention it, coming to mind, I do believe that they are quite high in tryptophan. So maybe that before bed might be a little bit helpful. But unsalted, shelled sunflower seeds, I would keep in moderation. The calorie count can be quite high in them. They're very nutrient dense, so you really don't even need to eat a lot of them. So calorie dense, not just, or nutrient dense, not just calorie dense. So yeah, I would keep them in moderation, Susan, if it was me. But they are a great choice. Love sunflower seeds myself, and very high in healthy fats. Just make sure you're not overdoing it with them. And because of the size of them, very easy to do. But yeah, one of my favorite fat sources as well. That's the beautiful thing about seeds and nuts and avocados and peanut butter and all that different stuff. Olive oil, tons of healthy fats out there. We can't be too afraid of healthy fats. We need them for a well-balanced diet. IBS. Okay, that's interesting. How long have you been dealing with IBS for? Did that just kind of show up recently, or there's some certain foods that you're going to want to stay away from, obviously. I would really stick to foods that are high in fiber if you can. Kuan, sorry, I hope I'm saying that right. So high fiber foods would be great for you, both soluble and insoluble fiber. And it's going to keep, gut health. A probiotic might also be helpful, but let's talk about foods that you might want to stay away from. Dairy is probably one that you're going to want to stay away from. Again, I'm just basing this on a few of the studies that I've had. I know people with IBS, dairy can kind of trigger the symptoms of that. Same thing with gluten. Alcohol can definitely do that. Processed foods, I would say, would be one of the things you want to stay away from. Also, sugar would be another thing to stay away from. So keep the fiber high. And then I would also, just stay away from those things that I mentioned: alcohol, sugar, processed foods like processed meats and things like that. Stick to raw, healthy foods. And I think you'll be good. Maybe a probiotic, something that can feed that good bacteria in the gut. So I know IBS can be quite challenging. So I feel for you, Kuan. I hope you get some relief from that. Intermittent dieting, so sort of like intermittent fasting type stuff. I used to intermittent fast. I don't anymore. My window wasn't that bad. It was about like 8 hours or anything like that. Good for fat loss, and apparently there's some testosterone benefits to it, like an increase in testosterone. But I'd rather just eat a well-balanced diet throughout the day than do intermittent fasting. But I was doing about an 8-hour window for that. Again, I think maybe I started with 12 or 10, but 8 hours isn't too bad either. But I don't do that anymore. Which olive oil is good for drinking? Extra virgin olive oil. That's your best. Unique love. Extra virgin olive oil, and in moderation. So you can add it here, add it there. You don't want to be overdoing it because, again, it does have those healthy polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats, antioxidant, bioactive substances. But again, it is high in calories. So moderation is key when it comes to olive oil. But no, very good question, because there is differences in those. There is a difference in different types of olive oil, just like there is in any type of food. Hey, no problem, Kuan. I hope that helps. There's some videos on here too where I think I get a little bit more in depth on IBS. So if you want to check out those videos, that would be great too. Just so it pretty much covers what I said. The alcohol, the sugars, the processed foods, the saturated fats. Coffee might even, it's something acidic like coffee might kind of irritate what you're going through. So stick to the fiber. Good, healthy, clean foods are going to be the best. And sorry, Mohammed, no, I'm not going to give my name. Sorry about that. But hey, no problem, Kuan. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And I hope, like I said, I hope the IBS gets better for you. I know a couple people in my own life who have IBS, so I definitely know how hard that can be. So, and if it doesn't get better, if you need to talk to your doctor about it as well, because I'm sure they would have some input also. But diet plays such a big important role in it. And with IBS, one of the major problems is you're losing so many nutrients in the foods you're eating. So your nutrient uptake is being compromised. So you're not exactly getting all the nutrients that you're getting or that you're wanting from the foods that you're eating. Yeah, black rice is very good, Unique Love. That's funny. I haven't heard black rice in a really, really long time. It's often overlooked. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, very nutritious, rich in antioxidants, great for heart health from what I remember. I think it's gluten-free too as well. I think just as most rices are. So, you're not going to get the gluten in there. So yeah, black rice is definitely good, and it's a nice change. And I think just due to the color, you're going to get some anthocyanins in there, some plant compounds just due to the color, sort of similar to like an eggplant or beets. So yeah, very good. Black rice. Thanks for bringing that up. I haven't thought about black. I might do a video on black rice this week now. I don't think I've ever done that. Yeah, I imagine Kuwan. So if you need to speak to your doctor as well. All right, buddy. Yes, wild rice is very good as well. Any sort of rice I enjoy. Now, white rice or sticky rice sort of got a bad reputation because it's a very fast digesting carbohydrate. So people were kind of always scared that it'd be stored as fat. The faster it digests, the bigger chance that it's actually going to be stored as fat. But we're even seeing a turnaround with that. Grains and rice and things like that, we're beginning to see just the health benefits and the benefits of actually eating that. Now, I would choose brown rice, wild rice, and black rice over probably white or sticky rice, just because they have a lower GI, so glycemic index than those. So I would do that. But yeah, you are starting to see the tide sort of turn. Almond milk, yeah, almond milk is great too, Joshua. Very low in calories. Unsweetened is obviously the best. You're right. If it's unsweetened, it's kind of doing the exact opposite of the benefit. It's low in calories. The unsweetened is only gonna The sweetened version is only going to add sugar and add calories. So, yes, absolutely. Unsweetened almond milk. I don't drink too much almond milk now. It is in the fridge, but yes, I've consumed almond milk quite a bit. CBD oil, that's an interesting one. I don't have a ton of experience on CBD oil, but I have read a lot of its tremendous anti-inflammatory benefits. I think it can reduce swelling or pain around the joints, if I do believe, Tammy. And again, I don't have experience with this, so again, take it with a grain of salt. I have read studies on it. And it's sort of one of those things that it can have a bit of a different effect on some people. So it works really well for some people, and others, they don't really see the benefit of it, but it can have very good anti-inflammatory abilities. And I know even a lot of athletes now are starting to use it. So very interesting question. CBD oil. I think we'll hear a lot more of that with the years to come. And it's gaining popularity like crazy. All right, Kuan, thank you. Please do. And I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, dairy can be there's a lot of people with dairy sensitivities, Joshua. So 100% right. Some people are fine with it. A lot of people find it quite tough and not the best for them. I'm okay with dairy. I just don't drink a lot of it. So, yeah, it's very seldom that I'm actually having dairy milk these days. Not that I'm sensitive to it. It just doesn't really fit my day-to-day diet. Kind of as Moises was asking before, it's just not one of those foods that I sort of go to. Okay, well, if anyone wants to ask any last second questions, I think we're going to end here. Thank you so much for everyone coming into the chat. Ooh, best foods for autism prevention. I wish I could give a better explanation on that, Joshua. I have not looked too much into that. So I would never give my input on that. Sorry, my friend. That would be something to ask for your medical practitioner, but I'm definitely not in a place to answer that sort of question. Sorry. Good low carb cereals? Huh. Low carb cereals. I know good high protein cereals. Low carb cereal is a little bit tough. I think that's what you mean, low carb, Tammy. Someone in chat might know better than me. It's kind of tough because most cereals are made with those grains, right? And even rice derivatives. So they are usually quite high in carbs. And also, you will find sugar in a lot of cereals. That's why I kind of went with the high protein cereal. And even with that, you will still find some sugar in it. High cholesterol. Yeah, that's the thing with IBS too. You can definitely see those sort of the things that can kind of stem from that Kuan. So I'm sorry you're going through that, buddy. Definitely talk to your doctor, okay? Oh, that's great, Unique Love. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And you know what? Those are some of my favorite foods. Salmon, man, right up my out. Chicken, turkey, berries, green, all those greens. Definitely my go-to. So, yeah, we're right on the same page. And thank you, Tammy. I very much enjoyed it as well. You have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. And guys, this won't be the last time that I pop on here. Trust me. I want to make it a common thing where I can come in and chat to you one-on-one. Like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years and we haven't had a one-on-one chat. I don't want to just seem like one of those guys that just makes videos and puts them up. This is something I'm passionate about, and I want to answer questions for you guys, talk one-on-one, give my perspective, hear your perspective. So I enjoy doing the research and I love sharing it with you guys. So this definitely will not be the last one. In fact, we'll do many more of these throughout the year. So, oh, thanks, D. Will. That's awesome. Found me today and subscribed. That's great. I very much appreciate the subscription. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the videos. If you're able to see some, I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you continue to enjoy them. So, thank you very much. Eggs are fine for cholesterol, from what I've researched, Kuwan. The cholesterol in eggs has very little to do with total serum cholesterol levels, but just keep them in moderation. All right, just keep them in moderation. It's not like I'm saying you can eat 8 eggs a day, one, maybe 2 a day. You should be fine. It's more of a lifestyle. So if you're active and everything like that, that's going to have more of an effect usually on your cholesterol levels. But again, if your cholesterol is high, please talk to your doctor. Thanks, Tammy. I appreciate that. And thanks, Courtney. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for asking your questions. Thank you so much to all of you. I really enjoyed this. I don't think it could have went any better for my first stream. Coffee on an empty stomach in the morning? That's a good question, Kellyanne. It can be a little bit tough on an empty stomach just because it's acidic. Can you do it? Yes. If you're not having any horrible symptoms with it, I would probably eat something just a little bit before. I like to eat almonds right in the morning just to kind of get that blood sugar low, kind of keep me satiated. And then I have something in my stomach for when I actually do drink the morning coffee. But just keep in mind that it is quite acidic. So it might not give you a problem that day, but down the road, it could possibly, it might not possibly give you some issues. Schedule for online. So schedule when I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to try to do this maybe every couple days. I'm enjoying it. So if that's fine with you guys, I'll keep coming on here. I have no problem with that. I'll come on here, share my knowledge, listen to your guys' knowledge, and just have a nice discussion. If you guys are up for a couple times a week, then I definitely am too. Hey, my pleasure, Kellyanne. Thank you so much for asking your question. I enjoy my morning coffee, so trust me, I can relate. But I will kind of have some sort of a protein and a fat before I have my coffee. That's just the truth. I do that every morning. So let's end it there, guys. Thank you so much. I'll put a sort of how I did today, how I let you guys know that the stream was going to start at 3. What's today? Is today Friday or Thursday? Geez, we're losing. Yeah, Friday. So I'm thinking we do another one of these maybe on Sunday or something like that. And I think maybe it can be a nice accountability for us all as well as we're going into 2021 with everything that's been going on. Maybe we can have a nice accountability session in here and just make sure everything's going good for everyone diet wise. We want to be moving, getting our exercise, all that good stuff, and just keeping ourselves on track. Liberia, wow, all the way from in there. Absolutely, Kuan. Keep in touch, my friend. Thank you again to everyone that came in. I appreciate you. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourself. Keep the diet going strong. Thank you, D. Will. Well said. Stay safe, everyone, and continue to look out for more videos. There'll be one going up tomorrow, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I have a bunch of ideas already written down, so they're going to keep coming. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll probably get on here sometime then. All right. Take care, and thank you very much.